On planet Earth, there is an estimated 326 million trillion gallons of water. The vast majority is salt water, undrinkable without costly salinization technology. Only 3% is fresh water, and 70% of this is frozen in the polar ice caps. Less than 1% of the world's fresh water is readily accessible. While most Americans have access to tap water, many people choose to buy bottled water. Americans alone consume 60 million bottles of water daily. To produce the plastic for these bottles, 17 million barrels of crude oil are consumed annually. Few are recycled, with the majority finding their way to landfills, where they will remain for nearly 450 years. At the University of Oregon, the one organization attempting to change this is the Climate Justice League.
Take Back the Tap has been a 3-year campaign at the University of Oregon, and it's basically, its goal is to let our university be bottled water free. So our university would stop selling bottled water. And that's really important in Eugene because we have delicious, safe tap water, some of the best in the country, and we spend, like, America as a whole wastes 17.5 million barrels of oil just producing plastics and transporting bottles. Another environmental issue is that our planet is actually running out of water, and it takes about 235 ounces of water to make and transport one 20-ounce bottle of water, and that's way too much water to be wasting.
Take Back the Tap is a national campaign that has successfully banned the sale of bottled water on over 50 campuses nationwide. This student-led movement is spearheaded at the U of O by the Climate Justice League. The Climate Justice League is a group of student activists working to raise awareness and empower students to be environmental leaders.
My name is Maya Ray, and I am one of 3 co-directors for the Climate Justice League. Climate Justice League was formed based on the idea of climate justice, which is that climate change essentially creates this uneven stress on different communities, typically communities that are, of color or poor, or, there's just different factors that go into that, and we wanted to alleviate some of those stresses, whether that be on campus or off campus.
Of the 60 million plastic bottles that are consumed every day in the United States, 86% are never recycled. This 86% is equivalent to 51.5 million bottles. If recycled, these bottles could be used to produce 10 million extra-large t-shirts a day. And it takes 70% less energy to produce a product from recycled plastic than from raw materials.
So why has Take Back the Tap been this cat and mouse game between the students and the administration? Well,
for a policy to be enacted at the University of Oregon, you first begin with policy identified interested parties and committee form policy conduct.
There are currently 86 policies on file at the University of Oregon, ranging from the institutional use of animals in research and instruction to written reprimands. Each one of these policies had to go through a long and arduous process to become official policies that influence the management and operations of the entire university. This 36-step process starts with identifying a need for a policy, followed by a policy concept proposal. Then the policy is developed and a draft is written. Then the draft is reviewed and made available for public review. The draft is then revised, and the final draft is reviewed by relevant personnel. And finally, the policy is either approved or not approved by the president.
To me, it's just really sad that we've had to work on it for this long, and the administration and the U of O, it's just so hard for students to make change happen, I think, is what's most frustrating.
First we tried to do educational campaigns and stuff, and that worked pretty well, and we still continue to do those things. But we thought that, department by department, or specific groups like the Environmental Issues Committee would be able to help us make this change by doing things like putting in more water fountains, or distributing 1,500 water bottles, reusable water bottles to people. but admin wasn't really listening to that change. So then we decided to go to the policy on policies, which is actually something that President Leverrier kind of implemented to make law at the university. And the administration hasn't actually, they don't actually follow that particularly well either. So we did all the steps, 34 out of 36, and they still haven't done their role to just approve the policy in its final stage. So we did a ballot measure and did a lot of research where we asked students to vote if they want to go bottled water free. And we did surveys for residents and faculty. And we've gotten so much support from everyone, and the administration hasn't listened to that. So as soon as President Gottfredson refused to meet with students about Take Back the Tap and vetoed the policy, we knew that that admin was ignoring the student voice and they had no issues with it. So our relationship with admin cannot be good anymore.
Bottled water!
Bottled water!
Unsafe waste!
It's an unsafe waste!
Of natural resources!
Of natural resources!
Eugene has tap water!
Eugene has tap water!
That is pure!
That is pure!
Healthy and free!
Healthy and free!
72% of students!
72% of students!
And 86% of faculty!
And 86% of faculty!
Support going bottled water free!
Support going bottled water free!
Because they know!
Because they know
That bottled water!
that bottled water
3,000 times more expensive!
is 3,000 times more expensive
And exponentially more dangerous!
and exponentially more dangerous
Than our Eugene tap!
than our Eugene tap.
Take back the tap!
Take back the tap. Take back the tap. Take back the tap. Take.
All right, now let's chain ourselves to Donkey Hall.
There are iPhones up there.